That's why I love to continue to break even. More important, don't get frustrated, don't get impatient. Just one of these days, you're going to hit that big home run and it's going to keep going. And all those break evens are not losses. You didn't lose anything. You're not trying to come back from a deficit. You're just waiting for that home run. I love just being patient and waiting, because one of these days, and I've seen it, I've missed them, and I could have taken them. They do happen where you get in at the right moment and it just keeps right on going. So that's what we're waiting for. And it could, maybe it's going to be that 1 or 2 trades a year that makes up for the whole year and get, whatever. I don't really care, but I'm not going to lose money if I can help it. If I can break even and I got a chance to get 1-to-1, we'll just go and do that process until I get more confident and better at this trading game. Okay, let's check out the trade that we did with the futures first. Using the larger time zone, you can see the resistance, especially from this pivot over here on the far left. You can see that it goes all the way to the right side, and over here on the right side, first the left side pit resistance comes over here, and it starts to go down. I came in this morning looking at this down side, and so we went to a smaller time frame. And this is the last climb up. We're using trend lines to try to figure out where it's going to bust and move to the downside, and here it starts to break. Okay, so this is where the trade takes place. What I'm trying to do is short it. The problem is I didn't get what I would like to see is a break of the trend line and a retest. Okay, let's go back in and look at this. You can see the break of the trend line right here. And I circled that area because if I wanted a momentum trade, I could have used that last candle, and as soon as it broke out, and kind of, it would have worked just fine for at least a little bit. So I was looking for a 1, 2, 3 move down, and it went a lot further than that, and probably didn't count the waves right. But the point is, where did I take the trade? Well, I finally took the trade way down here. Okay, let's see if we can see that or not. Let's get in there, because it looked like it wanted to break down. It had shaped into a kind of candle formation that I like to see. Yeah, right here is where it got me, because it broke down and then it went right back up and stopped me out. To me, breaking even is the most important thing. At this point, it's even more important than, making a profit, because I just don't want to lose anything. And hopefully that'll change as time goes on. But right here, this candle formation, I liked it because it felt like it was going to keep going. Let's take a look at it. Now I got the markers on here. This was not a break-even trade. This was a loss, and the next one down was a win. So together, these two trades were break-even. I got short right here before it broke down, and then I get out of it when it goes up over the top of this pivot right here. Went right up to that next pivot level there. Like typically it can happen often that a breakout, wherever it breaks out, can go right back up and retest. If anything, I should have been shorting up here. I don't know. I was really wanting this breakout from the trend line. Really wanted that breakout from the trend line to retest like this right here. When it broke down, I wanted it to go back up, retest, and come back down and give me a continuation. It really just kept going. And I kept trying to find trend lines for it to reverse, and it finally did right here, which would have been a great trade to the upside. But these are the only two trades. So after I broke even, I tried to short it right here on this little flat level. So it continues, and it just snapped up real quick and stopped me out of my stop loss. My stop loss was very, very short. And then right here, when it looked like it was breaking down again, it went right down past that level, and I said, it's going to keep going. Jumped in it and rode it down. Let's see how these little pintails are very short. That's how I kept my stop loss right there. My stop loss was right there. My entry was right here. I just brought my stop loss to break even, and then I trailed it. This green candle here was starting to turn red, so I put my stop loss right there, and it looked like it was going to keep going down, and I said, yes, we're going to get a big move. And then it came right back up and stopped me out. But that was enough to cover this loss. So these two trades were break even. Towards the end of the day, the big trend line was broken right here with these kind of real quick candles, and it did retest, And I mean, I wasn't able to get the trade here because I noticed that it's better to, on this big gigantic move up, it was better to try to get the trend line break to the upside. So I was looking for the upside and not the downside on this because it kept on going today. It was one of those days that just kept right on going and going and going and going. So it was a strong move up today. So yeah, here on the big time chart, this is where when I came in this morning, and then that was the reversal. And then this is all it did all day long. So I wasn't trying to short this. And so on the smaller time chart, it finally, at the end of the day, it started topping out here. It was really hard to trade because it's at the high of the day. It's at the end of the day. But I tried anyway because what happened here, it started, this line right here is the resistance that it crossed over. And it bounced once, and it tried to sell off and came right back up, and it tested it several times. I felt pretty secure that it was not going to go down. So when it started to come up over here after the consolidation and put in this little tiny consolidation, I went long right as it broke out. And I could have got a 1-to-1 on that. My stop loss was down here under these 3 candles. But if I kept my stop loss under the very first candle that I got in on, then my targets would have been better, but definitely would have hit 1-to-1 up here. What I did do is I broke even. It was not a loss, but it would have came back and stopped me out had I not broken even or taken my first target profit. So that's why I love to continue to break even. More important, don't get frustrated, don't get impatient. Just one of these days, you're going to hit that big home run and it's going to keep going. And all those break evens are not losses. You didn't lose anything. You're not trying to come back from a deficit. You're just waiting for that home run. I love just being patient and waiting because one of these days, and I've seen it, I've missed them, and I could have taken them. They do happen where you get in at the right moment and it just keeps right on going. So that's what we're waiting for. And maybe it's going to be that 1 or 2 trades a year that makes up for the whole year and get, whatever. I don't really care, but I'm not going to lose money if I can help it. If I can break even and I got a chance to get 1-to-1, we'll just go and do that process until I get more confident and better at this trading game. Lord willing, peace. All right, let's check out the other trades I did today. And Meta was really banging into some all-time high areas. It was pretty interesting. And I do believe it almost got into the all-time area. Yeah, here's the daily chart. You can see that thing coming all the way up to the top of this pivot. Here's the monthly, weekly chart. Pretty darn close, if not right on the button there. And but when I got in it, I like that I got in it when I did. I probably could have waited, and come to find out, I could have waited for the first 5-minute area retest. It came down. This box represents the first 5-minute zone. And it came back down to that area. And I could have waited, but the candle was so strong and everything was going up and the market looked good that I just jumped in it, which would have been a momentum play, but I got in kind of high. But what I did was I lowered my size and I said, if it drops back down even into this range, say the top of this pre-market and top of these pips, these wicks, I would have got in more into my full size. So it would have brought my average price to the area that I should have waited to get in. So that was my plan. After it tested the 5-minute high range, I added, and when it started to break out, I added some more. And I like that. Problem is, it challenged my patience because right there where I added was as high as it ever got until the very end of the day when I had to wait all through lunch. Look at this test. Look at this test, another test. Look at this, another test. And it finally did go. And I just sold into the strength. And I got out too early. And I didn't get as much as I was risking. So I want to make a note about this. My stop losses were way more than I gained. This is something that I have to stop doing to become more professional. And I want to make sure that I keep understanding that that's a problem and I cannot keep doing that. All right, so let's get that understood, that is something that cannot be done. I kept a third of my stop loss all the way down here, a third underneath these pivots, and then I finally had one tightened up right here, the 3 positions that I had. But I certainly didn't gain that much, so I was risking a lot more than I had gained. So I did not get a 1-to-1 on those. Could I have gotten a 1-to-1? Well, let's see, because I didn't even really see that, because I think I was breaking even right about here in this area here. So, if my stop loss was way down here, how in the world, did I get a break even on that? So let's see. Let's just say my stop loss was right here. Where would it have to go to get me to 1-to-1? Did it even make it that far? Because if it did, then I definitely need, it didn't even get up to that first target if my stop loss was clear down here. So that's something I need to just, I was pretty confident it wasn't going to go down there. That was kind of like an emergency kind of place to put it, because just in case I walked away from the computer, I think I was right here. And so it still didn't get to the 1-to-1. Now, if I would kept my stop loss right here, then I'm pretty sure that I would have made that. Yeah, I would have even gotten 2-to-1 had I kept my stop loss in these 2 areas. I'm pretty sure I would have done okay. But like I said, I got out as I got to get used to holding the position and being patient. I did notice that it was making higher lows here, this pattern is beautiful. This is a classic bull pattern, cup with handle. It's classic. It's just, I got to get used to being patient and waiting it out. I like the entries, but it didn't go anywhere and I had to wait. And this is the essence of day trading and trading like this, is the waiting part. The entries can be great, but we need to build the patience to wait. When it got right up to the high, I said, you know what? I'm so tired of waiting. Let me just get out up there. And it was profitable. I had a profitable day, but it could have been so much more. And it seems to be, that's one of the problems I need to overcome in order to really go full time in this. So be patient and wait for the trade to develop. Let's take a look at the other trade I did today. Tesla. Okay, and it looks good on the daily chart, coming right down into this box where this support area is. Any kind of a turnaround in this area, like yesterday at the bottom of it, did good, and the turnaround today, this is a beautiful pattern, shooting up like that. I got in before it broke out, and if my stop loss was right here, I would not have gotten a 1-to-1 on that. And it's exactly where I left my stop loss, underneath these consolidation areas, and it would have kept going. And it's possible that I could have used the low of day to re-enter and try something, but it went even further down than that and continued down before a nice turnaround. And I suppose we should study while we're here, the trend line technique. While I got this video going, we probably would have drawn one this way, then this way, then this way. And then you always catch the pivots, and here's where it starts to go up higher after the retest of this. And that looks really good, actually. You'd have to look at every single one of them to really understand that the retest on that one went too far. This is a retest here, grinding down. And a lot of times where it bounces will be the bottom. You just got to see how many times it does that before you actually catch the bottom. So using this next pivot here, we can see that it also retested. Okay, it crossed that trend line, faked out a couple times, went up, came down, did a pintail, starts to create higher lows in this area here. It starts to create higher lows, and it's just choppy. I guess we could feel more comfortable once it starts to cross the 8 and the 20, cross over the 50. So yeah, once the 20 crosses up over the 50 here, that's the 100 and the 200 up here, it could be changing directions. And then what we'd have to do is draw some trend lines going this way off the bottoms of these things here to see if we can catch it off the bottom of the trend line, which is now established this way. So how would I play this? It's so choppy. It does do a test. If you try to break out, it comes all the way down. It never crosses under these pivots, though. That's why the trend line is so nice. So it would have been a heck of a test and quite a scare, and I like to break even. More than likely, the way I trade, I would have tried to break even on that. I would have I probably couldn't even have held it at this point until I developed the nerve to figure out how to enter in at a lower place instead of on the breakout side. Sometimes we need to enter in on the breakup and instead of waiting to come back. So I want to be able to do both. So in this case, I might have broke even on this trade here because it came back. On this one, I might have been able to get a good trade right here. Right here would have been an interesting. I can keep my stop loss right here underneath as it breaks out over the top of that red candle there. 1 to 1, 2 to 1, got it. Got it.